afternoon, everyone. We're here for the Building and Fire Board of Appeals, October 15th meeting. We'll start with roll call. Commissioner Alcalde. Here. Commissioner Olgueco. Pat McGarry, I'm here. So we'll do roll call again because my mic was off. I apologize. So Commissioner Arkelian
Here.
and Commissioner Olgueco
Here.
and Commissioner Bad McGarry, I'm here. Welcome everyone to the October 15 Building and Fire Board of Appeals meeting. I apologize, my mic was off before. So we've done roll call. Now we go to, we had the agenda posted from the previous meeting, from the September 15th meeting, about the adoption of the upcoming 2025 building standards codes. Let's see. And do we have any updates from building and safety or fire prevention?
Good afternoon, Mr. President. So as of right now, we didn't have any new comments from general public. So today we are presenting the second reading for the code adoption to this board. And same with fire department, I believe.
Okay, that sounds good. Want to move on to the approval of the minutes from the September 17th Fire Board of Appeals meeting that we had.
I'll make a motion to approve. I second.
Okay, approve the minutes from the previous meeting. We want to open it up to any discussion? Any items that we want to talk about? Anything that's... No? We have no speakers? Okay.
We have in agenda, we have speakers here,
Okay.
but the discussion is for commission.
Discussion,
at this
okay,
point, yes.
internally.
If we don't
yeah.
have anything, we can go
No?
to the next
Okay,
item.
we can move forward. Old business. So like I said, we're here to do the next hearing of the proposed amendments and the adoption of the upcoming building standards codes. We were presented with some of the amendments that we were carrying over to the upcoming adoption, and there didn't seem to be any major new amendments being introduced.
Right, with that, if you would like, Mr. President, we have Chris August and Gabe Reza to present you the code amendment for Glendale Building Code and Fire Code.
Okay, sounds good.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, board members and Chairperson Magarian. Thank you. Thank you for having us today and bringing us from the last meeting. I'd like to get started, and I want to draw your attention to the screen to my right here. Go ahead and the next slide, please. Okay, so as far as the California Building Standards Code, they are organized into 12 parts. Part 1 through Part 12. Next slide, please. Oh, go back for a minute. As far as the Building Standards Code, they established the minimum standards by which building and building systems shall be designed, constructed, and utilized to ensure public safety. So, and general standards are applicable throughout the state without special considerations for local conditions. So, next slide, please. Okay, so here, these are a couple of very important statutes which defines how local jurisdiction must enforce Title 24, and also how to go about making local amendments to the Building Standards Code. So, and how they do that is they may amend the Building Standard Codes to address local geologic, topographic, or climatic conditions. And a couple important things about amendments is that local amendments must be at least as protective as the statewide statutes. And then as far as amendments, justifications must be filed with the Building Standards Commission. So, and then any amendments to the energy standards must be certified by the California Energy Commission before enforcements. And this year, and in the past, we didn't have any amendments there. So, and then also as far as local enforcement, it may not occur prior to January 1 of 2026. So we have to wait to enforce the new code. Next slide, please. Okay, so Glendale Building Safety Code basically comprises of 9 volumes, and this is what was adopted previously, from volume 1A to volume 9. So essentially, what we're doing for this year is a carryover with very little changes to the current codes. Okay, so many of the, there's been a great effort regionally to standardize local codes that has resulted in great uniformity among our neighboring cities. So we try to be similar throughout, okay? So, and also with that, a small number of amendments or revised, mainly in the fire standards of volume 6. All right, so next slide, please. Go ahead, next one. All right, so here we'll start off with our volume 1A, and there's going to be a recurring theme here with all of these volumes, and basically similar to what you see there, is that the proposed amendments are similar to the 2023 Glendale Building and Safety Code, and there are no significant changes to the building standards. So next slide, please. Again, similar with volume 1B, no significant changes here. Next slide, please. Again, same here, volume 1C, no significant changes as well. Okay, volume 1D. Okay, volume 1D is a new code, and specifically CBC Chapter 7A and CRC Section R337 was consolidated into the 2025 Wildland Urban Interface Code. And many of the amendments that we added here are basically a carryover from volume 1A and 1B. So again, there's no significant changes to the standards there. Next slide, please. Okay, volume 2 is the plumbing standards. Again, no significant changes, and it's similar to the 2023 Glendale Building and Safety Code. Next slide. Okay, same goes for volume 4, the electrical standards. Amendments are similar to that of the 2023, and there, again, no significant changes to the standards. Next slide, please. Okay, volume 5, which is our housing standards. And again, the proposed amendments here are similar to the 2023 Glendale Building and Safety Code. Next slide, please. All right, so fire standards. What we did here in the fire standards is we removed Chapter 49 from the fire code, which moved it over to what we have now, which is Volume 1D, which is the Wildland Urban Interface Code. And what that is basically to reduce reduce wildlife risk by requiring fire-resistant building materials, creating defensible spaces around homes, and ensuring that adequate fire access and water supply in areas where urban development meets with the wildlands. So next slide, please. With Volume 7, again, it's no significant changes here to the security standards of Volume 7. Next slide. Volume 8, which is the Commercial Industrial Property Maintenance Code, is also a carryover, and there are no significant changes as well. Next slide, please. Okay, this is our last volume, which is Volume 9. And again, the proposed amendments here are similar to that of the Glendale Building and Safety Code 2023. Next slide, please. Okay, so in summary of what we just talked about, we had 2 public hearings before the Building and Fire Boards of Appeal. One was last month on September 17, 2025, and one today on October 15th on 2025. Now, where do we go from here? Okay, well, what we're going to do from here is we want to introduce this ordinance to the City Council on October 28th, and hopefully have our adoption of our ordinance and resolution on November 4th, which we will then have an effective date of January 1, 2026. And then plans submitted into Plan Check after that date will be subject to the new code. Next slide, please. Okay, so here are some very important timelines that we have already discussed. 9/17 was a draft presented to the building fire boards for review. 10/15 is the final presentation to our board. 10/28 will be again to introduce to City Council the ordinance. And then on 11/4, we're gonna take the ordinance and hopefully adopt it at the City Council meeting. And, oh, there's an error there. 1/1 is 2026, should be 2026, is the effective date of the new code. Next slide, please. Okay, so with that, again, effective date is January 1, 2026. Any plans, applications submitted on or after that date will need to comply with the new codes. And as far as training and where you can purchase the codes, we look to the International Code Council for that. And then also there's a lot of training with the new codes at ICCO LA Basin chapter, and then CALBO is also another source, as well as ICC itself. And with that, next slide, that concludes our presentation, introduction of the 2026 Glendale Building Safety Code. And if the board has any questions, and as well as the audience, fire and building are here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. That was a very thorough and great presentation. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions for him?
Not really. There were a lot of underlined word letters there, but I wasn't sure
Microphone.
the effective. Yeah, there were a lot of underlined words, and I was clear that those are the changes. But if there's so many lines, why? What do you mean, no significant changes?
Okay, so what you have there, the underline and strikeout, every 3 years we have to go through the same process. And so many of those amendments that you see there that are underlined and strikeout is mainly a carryover from the previous years. We're just bringing that forward. So as far as changes to what we have already adopted, there are no changes to those volumes. So yeah, again, we have to do the same process using and taking the same amendments and readopting them every 3 years. You want to?
Yeah, I can answer that question if you allow me.
Yes, please.
So the code, state code, is based on the model code. And then state code is amended and then presented to local jurisdictions to be adopted. If 3 years ago, City of Glendale or any jurisdiction has adopted the state law with state code with certain changes, that was already changed, underlined, and striked out language that it shows there that these changes are done. For example, regionally in Los Angeles area, we have additional restrictions for hillside design, for structural design for hillside construction. So all these sections are being added, and you will see many pages of underlined new language there. Now, when the local jurisdiction through ordinance passes this ordinance and adopts the code, so if they stick with that code forever, then there is no need of changing. But because the state after 3 years is changing the code again, so then local jurisdictions coming back and adopting that new code, they need to somehow compare with whatever was the change there. This change is becoming carryover, and this changing becoming a new changes to these newly presented codes. If there was no change in a state law, there wouldn't be change in our code at all. So the other option will be to make changes and state that in this city, forever from now on, these changes will be always part of the new upcoming code, but this is not logical because the new code may change the code section locations or the editorial changes that will need to go back and check every single item to see if we are adopting the right code section or we are removing the right code section from there. That's why every 3 years this process is continuing. I hope I explained
Yes,
that.
thank you. I got a good idea there.
I have a question. So do we, as a procedural, do we need to adopt and approve the final draft, or is that an action that we need to take?
I believe the action item for this, before this board, is to recommend to the council, city council, this code adoption,
Okay.
or not recommend. It's up to you. After discussion, you decide. It's up to the
That
board.
said, unless there's any other discussion, I'll move to recommend the board, I'll move to make a motion. Making a motion, I guess moving is to recommend the final draft to be presented and approved by council.
I second that motion. So we officially recommend the amendments and adoption, I suppose.
Thank you.
All right.
So how about we just go roll call, because we want to make sure that Commissioner Onkeko
Oh,
also.
okay.
Yes.
My apologies.
So I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Akelian,
Yes?
Commissioner Badmajagan,
Yes,
Commissioner Onkeko.
Yes.
okay, now it's official. Shall we move on to any new business?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Is there anything you wanted to bring up? Is there anybody wants to? No comments, no feedback? Okay. So, then I guess we can move on to any reports, any current building activity, and monthly income summaries.
I believe we did that last
did.
meeting, and there is no any new update, but as a new business, or as most of it, it's like an invitation, we would like to ask commissioners if you are available on November 4th at the City Council, 6 p.m., an adoption date. We would love to invite you to be there as representatives of the Building and Fire board members. If you would like to be there, so we'll do the presentation and adoption hopefully that day. If there is any change, we will let commissioners know. That's all we have, and I would like to again thank the Building Safety and Fire Department staff for doing this great work for us.
Great. Yeah, that sounds fine. I know that I should be available that evening, so I'm sure
Yeah, same
my
here.
fellow commissioners will love to join as well.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you to the Building and Fire Department. This was a huge endeavor, and I mentioned it to you last time, Chris, that this was a great presentation. A lot of effort goes into it, so really appreciate the efforts from both Building and Fire. Gabe, obviously, the great presentations from the last meeting. So thank you all for it's tireless work, but thank you. If there's nothing else that we want to add, guess we can.
I don't have anything, thank you.
And for me too.
Okay, so I can make a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for a great meeting, and we adjourn until November meeting. City Council, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me look in your eyes, hold back, the river's so wide. Stop